And for today's class, all you guys need is just, once again, notebook, paper, pencil. If you have a calculator as well, that may help. You could probably end up using your phone. But if you just have a graphing calculator, like a TI-84, whatever you're going to use for the actual SAT, that'd be best. So if you can get that for today's class, that'd be perfect. And we'll take a look at everything shortly. Let's start with lesson 1. Here we're going to take a look at operations. I'm going to start in the beginning. For those of you, this is too easy. Just let me know if this is too easy and it's and I'm going too slow or going too fast. I'll ask that as well. But please let me know if there's any questions about the speed. We'll address everything and move forward from there. But start off with operations. Let's take a look. Basic Pemdas here, right? Everybody knows Pemdas, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. This should be pretty straightforward. I just want to make sure I address this so there's no concerns. But for a problem like this, 56 over 4 plus 5 times 2, that's just going to give me 56 over 4 plus 10, which is just going to be 56 over 14. So my answer would just be 4. So that one should be pretty straightforward. Oh, yes. I got a message really quick. So I should introduce myself. I kind of ran right into the lesson. My name is Camille. You guys can call me Mr. R. I've been private tutoring for the past 9 years. I do this full time. And the reason why I'm an English teacher here is I enjoy helping students with standardized exams. And I myself, the reason why I do math instead of English is because I got a perfect score on the math. I got the 800 on the English and reading. I did well, but it's definitely my weakness. Samantha's a published author, so she tackles that. But for the math, I was able to get a perfect score multiple times. So that's why I'm going to focus just on this test with you guys. And my goal is going to make sure if I can help you guys do the same. So I'm going to show you some of the tips and tricks and strategies and go through some material. But yeah, any other questions, message me privately or in the group chat. I apologize for not introducing myself. But yeah, my name is Mr. R or Camille, whichever you prefer. And I look forward to kind of helping you guys with that as well. But yeah, so let's take a look here at the second question. We've got -8 minus -3 squared. Obviously, that's just going to be the -8 stays like that. Then we have minus -3 squared. So we have to square this entire thing to -3. So when you square the entire -3, oh, let me just move the chat box here. Okay, so when I square the entire, let me go to drawing. Okay, so when I square the entire -3, that's just going to give me -8 minus 9. So my answer here is just -17. Those two there should be pretty straightforward. I just wanted to introduce basic Pemdas to make sure you guys felt comfortable with that. Any questions on those problems that we just did? Okay, looks like we're good. Okay, so let me clear that and let's move on to the next. All right, so this question right here, I want to show you guys as well. I'm going to walk you guys through a couple of problems initially, and then I'm going to post some of them, and I'm going to create a poll for you guys to answer as your own. So make sure you're ready to do that and feel comfortable and follow along with me for the meantime. But a problem like this where they're giving us the equation right here of C equals 5/9 times F minus 32. We want to solve for F when C is 15. So what we're going to do is first replace the C with 15. So we're going to have 15 equals 5/9 times F minus 32. And now most of us here are so used to then taking that 5/9 and distributing to each term. However, that's not going, you can do that, it's just creating more steps. My goal in this class is always to show you what's the fastest and easiest way to solve these problems. So what we want to do instead of distributing the 5/9 is I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. So I'm going to multiply by 9/5 because this 5 and this 5 will cancel, this 9 and this 9 will cancel, leaving me with F minus 32 on the right side. And on the left side, I've got 9/5 times 15. Now, how do I do 9/5 times 15? Well, a couple of different ways. If you can use, obviously you can use your calculator, right? You could do 9 divided by 5, which gives you 1.8 times 15. That's fine. But let's say if you don't have the calculator, what you can do is you could do 15 divided by 5, which is 3, and then 3 times 9, that's going to give me 27. So then we know we have 27 equals F minus 32. And then I add 32 on both sides to give me 59. So my answer will just be C. All right. So that's how we solve this question. Figure out exactly what is F, get rid of everything else, and solve from there. And once again, any questions at any point, shoot me a message. You guys can message in the group chat, or you could even message me privately as well if you don't feel comfortable asking out loud, so to speak. All right. So that's that question. Let's take a look at the next. We're going to do, okay. This problem, I'm going to create a poll. I'm going to want you guys to try to solve this on your own initially. And let me launch that. Oh, why did it kick me out? All right, so multiple choice. 1 second. Wait, where did that go? Okay, so we're good. Can you guys see everything again? Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so I wanted to create a poll, but I think it kicked me out when I did that. Let's see. Okay, yes. I'm just gonna use this one right here. Okay, so I launched a poll A, B, C, D. A is 80, B is 120, C is 100, and D is 20. So I launched a poll. Take a second to go through everything, and let's see what you guys got as an answer. Okay, so we got a couple answers. Take a second if you're unsure. Take an educated guess as well. Let's see. I got a question. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. When did the meeting start? So I got a question about when the meeting started. The meeting started at about 3:03. There's a recording of everything as well. I thought the meeting didn't start yet, but it was just my computer. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, we only did a couple questions. So if you missed it, if you just joined us now, you only missed about a couple minutes of that. Also, if the poll didn't come up to you, I'm going to try that again, but I got a couple of you privately messaged. All right, so I'm going to end the poll. Let's take a look at this question. I'm going to explain. So it looks like most of you here put C. You had a couple A. So our correct answer here is C. I'm going to explain why the answer is C. Let me just take a look at that. So here's what's going on here. When they use the word profit, right? Everyone see profit right here? You want to think of the equation P equals R minus E. So it's profit equals revenue minus expenses. Okay? Profit equals revenue expenses. That's pretty much going to be the formula that you need to know for this type of question. Whenever you see the word profit, profit is what's left over. Revenue is the amount of money we're making. Expenses is what we're spending. Okay? So let's see. We know our profit here already. They gave it to us. It's 300. So we know P is 300. Now, what is our revenue? Revenue. How much money are we making? $15 per person. So I'm going to do 15 per person. So I'm just going to use X. You can use P, whatever the variable, doesn't matter, but 15X. Minus the expenses here of 1,200, like that. So it's going to be 300 equals 15X minus 1,200. We're going to move over the 1,200 on both sides. And so we're just going to do plus 1,200 plus 1,200. And that's just going to give me 1,500 equals 15x. Then we divide both sides by 15, so we get x equals 100. C. Okay, so that's the way to solve this type of question. Once again, on the test, you'll see a different scenario. Instead of a soccer arena, it's going to be a basketball court. Instead of $15 per person, it's going to be 10. Right? So the test is very repetitive. You'll see the same type of questions, different numbers, different problems, same concept. Okay, so does anyone have any questions on this first one right here? If you do, just let me know. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next and take a look at that. Let's see. Okay, so this one's very, very similar. Once again, same strategy, slightly different. So I'm going to post a poll, make sure everyone puts in their answer, use the concept that we just did, and I want to make sure you guys all feel comfortable with this question right here. So take a second, give you guys about a minute to go through this. All right, got a couple answers. Take another 30 seconds. Make sure you guys can put your answer into the poll. Got about 10 responses. Make sure everybody sees the poll. All right. All right, I'm going to give everybody 10 more seconds, regardless of whether you got the answer right or wrong. Can everybody just submit an answer, at least whether it's A, B, C, or D? Just pick something. I just want to make sure everybody can see the poll. I'm missing 3 more students. Okay, maybe a couple of you guys can't see. Everybody, oh, okay, I'm missing 2 more. Can everybody just submit an answer? Doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong. I just want to make sure everybody else submits an answer. I'm missing 1 more. All right, maybe someone's taking a nap. We'll see. Okay. All right, so let's share the results. 120 is the most popular answer. Let's take a look and see. 120 is the most popular answer. However, it's not the correct answer. Let me show you guys how to tackle this once again. Same strategy here, right? We know it's P equals R minus E. Why? It's profit, okay? What is our profit here? What is our P? It's $2 per person. $2 per person. So 2x equals our revenue, which our revenue is $6 per person, which is 6x, and our expenses is what it costs us. That's how much money we spent. So revenue is how much money comes into your pocket, and expense is how much money leaves your pocket, right? That's a cost. So then we have this equation right here. So we subtract 6x both sides. We're going to get negative 4x equals negative 800. Divide by the negative 4 on both sides, and we get x equals negative 800 divided by negative 4, which is the same thing as 800 over 4, which is just 200. So our final and correct answer is going to be A. All right. So take a second, make sure you write down the work so you have that. If you guys can't see the poll, maybe check your tabs, move things around. The poll should pop up. It may not pop up right in front, so maybe move something around. Maybe the poll is hidden behind another tab. But I feel like I got everybody besides one, so maybe that could be the explanation to why. But yeah, so our answer here for this one is 200. All right, so write that down, feel comfortable, and if you have any question on this one, message me personally, but let's move on to next. So we're going to skip that question. I want to move on to the next topic, one variable. I want to get as much done as we can. I think you guys got the gist of that. One variable algebra is essentially just algebra equations with one variable. So most of you guys should be comfortable with this. I'm not sure which math class you guys have taken. Actually, in the group chat, can you guys let me know which math you are in right now in school? Algebra 2, geometry, pre-calc. Okay. All right, so for the most part, pre-calc, algebra 2. Okay, so everyone here has taken geometry, which I'm assuming because you're all in algebra 2 or calc. Some of you are in AP as well. So, okay, so most of you have taken. So pretty much for those of you in pre-calc and AP Calc, you guys have learned everything you need. There's nothing new that you are learning in school that is on this test. So you actually have to kind of take a step back and think, what was on the test, or what was I learning a year or two ago? This is all geometry, all algebra, a little bit of probability, very little trig, like SOHCAHTOA, that's it, basic trig. And I'm going to go through all of that. So we're going to do some of those questions. We're going to go through as many topics and concepts as we can, and then we're going to apply everything. But you'll see the actual content, the math, not hard. The difficult part of this test is translating from English to math, because there's a lot of word problems, and that's what students struggle with the most. So my goal is going to be to kind of help you guys translate some of those problems a little bit better. But let's take a look. Let's do one variable algebra. Let's take a look at this question right here. I'm going to rewrite the question so you guys see it. I'm going to put up a poll, give you guys a second to tackle this. So it's 1 over x minus 2 plus 1 over x plus 2. So take a second. I'm going to post a poll. Let's see. Oh. Okay, so the poll is posted. Okay, so you guys should have the poll. Let me know if you have any results with that. Where's the poll? Okay, there we go. All right, so take a second, try to solve this question. I'm going to walk you guys through how to do this one as well. Okay, so remember, keep in mind here, there's two ways to do this problem. You can solve this one algebraically by adding the two fractions, but whenever you add two fractions, they need to have a common denominator. Okay, so it's so to add those, you need the same denominator. That's one way of doing it algebraically. The second way of doing it is plugging in a number. What did they say here? They said that x just needs to be what? Bigger than 2. So plug in 3. See what this gives us, and then see which answer choices match up with that. All right, so take a minute, try to solve it, and then we'll review together. All right, take another 20, 30 seconds. All right, so take a shot, take an educated guess, submit your answer. We're going to review it. I'm going to show you guys how to tackle this one. This is a hard question, by the way. We'll go into a little bit of a strategy when we start looking at practice tests, but this is a hard problem. And the thing is, on the test, whether you get an easy question right, a medium question right, or a hard question right, does not matter. Easy and hard, all worth the same amount of points. So for those of you who want to get a 600 on the SAT, or for the math section, that is, you just need to get easy, medium questions correct. You can get all the hard ones wrong. If you want to break a 700, you're going to need to get some of the hard ones. And of course, if you want an 800, you're going to need to get every question. But if you just want to break a 600 for math, let's say, focus on easy, medium. And I'll kind of explain a little bit more of that as well. But good. So let's end the poll and see what we got. Okay. So for the most part, you guys picked B. Good. So it looks like you guys felt pretty comfortable for the most part. Let me show you guys the strategy here on how to tackle this question and explain. So like I mentioned before, we were talking about plugging in a number, right? Plugging in a number, and the number here I said was 3. Why plug in 3? What is that going to do for me? Well, that's going to give me 1 over 1 over 3 minus 2 plus 1 over 3 plus 2, right? And the whole point is here is to work with numbers because that makes our lives easier. So 3 minus 2, that just turns into 1. That turns into 5. So let's do, that's going to be a 1. That's going to be a 5. So that's going to be 1 over. Now, how can I add 1 over 1 and 1 over 5? They need to have the same denominator. So I'm going to turn this into, instead of 1 over 1, I'm going to make it 5 over 5. So that's going to turn into 6 over 5 like that. So I've got 1 divided by 6/5. Whenever you have 1 divided by a fraction, you just flip it. So it's going to turn into 5/6. So here's what happens. It's called keep, change, flip. Keep the top, which is a 1. Change your division into multiplication, flip the bottom. So you have 1 times 5/6, which just gives us 5/6. So that right there is our answer. Now, what does that 5/6 mean? Well, how do I know which answer it is? Well, I go into all my answer choices and plug in this 3 for x and see which one is also going to give me 5/6. So right off the bat, A, it makes no sense because it's not even going to be a fraction. C makes no sense because it's going to be 3 over 2. I'm looking for 5 over 6. So that's why my answer is B. If you plug in 3, you're going to get 9 squared. You're going to get 3 squared, which is 9, minus 4 over 2 times 3, which is 6, which is 5 over 6. So our answer here is B. All right. Any questions or concerns on this problem? Okay. So it seems like you guys are good for the most part. How can we do it algebraically? Is that the next question? Yes. Okay. How can you do it algebraically? I'll show you guys that as well. So this is the way by plugging in numbers. The reason why I show you this way is, once again, this is the SAT. This is all about how many points can you collect? How many questions can you get right? Doesn't matter whether you know how to do a problem or not. What matters is the points. Now, I want you obviously to understand the problem for the sake of learning, but this is why I showed you the short way, because this is going to save you time. Now, algebraically, it's important to understand it as well. So let me just quickly show you guys that, where you have 1 over x minus 2 plus 1 over x plus 2, right? So let's say we want to add these two fractions at the bottom, right? To add those two fractions, they need to have the same denominator. So what do we have to do? We have to put a common denominator. So this fraction is missing an x minus 2 on the top and bottom. And this fraction is missing an x plus 2 on the top and bottom. So you would multiply that out like that. And that would give you 1 over x plus 2 over, so you do x minus 2 times x plus 2. You guys FOIL that out, right? So you do first, outer, inner, last. And when you FOIL everything out, it's going to give you x squared minus 4. And then here you have 1 times x minus 2, so it's going to be x minus 2 over the same thing, x squared minus 4. Now we have a common denominator. Now you can add them. So now when you add them, that's just going to give me, let me go up here. It's going to give me 1 over x plus 2 plus x minus 2. The 2's will cancel. So you're just going to get 2x over x squared minus 4. And what do we say when you're doing 1 divided by a fraction? Keep, change, flip. So you just flip it. So then that's just going to be x squared minus 4 over 2x, which is b. So that's the algebraic way of doing it instead of plugging in a number. So whichever you guys prefer. Yeah, of course, not a problem. Yeah, if you guys ever have a question, that's fine. But yeah, whichever you prefer. It's up to you guys. If you guys can do this way faster, fine, so be it. Doesn't matter to me. But I want to make sure you guys have a couple of different options, so when you're looking at a problem, you know how to tackle it and go through that. But yeah, but this is, once again, this is a hard question. For those of you who are struggling with this one, don't worry about it. Just dump it out of your head. Focus on easy, medium, right? This group, I'm not sure where everybody stands, but I want to make sure I do some hard for the most part and medium questions as well. But if you're focused on just trying to get, if you want to get 600 and up, you need to get easy and medium. If you want to get 700 and up, you need easy, medium, and hard. All right, that's the way the game works. That's it. And whether you get an easy question right or a hard question right does not matter. They're all worth the same. So a problem like this will be the worth just as the same as 2x plus 5 equals 10 solve for x. Okay, that's it. All right, so this one's good. Let's take a look at the next topic here. Let's do, all right, that's fine, 2 more. So keep in mind, some of these problems that we're not doing, that we're skipping through right here, you guys will get access to these slides. These are all also from our online platform. So on the online platform that you guys all have accounts, and if you don't, message me and I'll show you how to set it up. You will be able to work through these questions. All these questions have answer choices, explanations, everything as well, and you'll be able to take a look at concepts. Now, my key thing is make sure I cover the 4 main topics on the test. 4 main topics on this test are, let me just write that right here. Number 1 is arithmetic. Okay, that's the 1 main math topic, arithmetic. Number 2, algebra. Number 3, geometry. And number 4 is data analysis, which is like tables, charts, mean, median, mode, etc. These are the 4 main topics. So I want to make sure I cover the bulk of each. And once that's done, then we can kind of move on from there. But that's my goal, to make sure you guys know exactly everything that's going to be expected on this test. All right, so there should be no surprises. Alrighty, so let's take a look at the next. And the other thing is also, every student here is different, right? So you guys may have different weaknesses and different strengths. Some of you may be better at geometry, some of you may be better at algebra. So the nice thing about our online learning platform is you get to choose what homework you want to do. You practice your weaknesses. Everybody has different weaknesses. So you're gonna go through what gives you the hardest time, all right? Let's take a look at 2 or more variables. One thing I do want to talk about here in 2 or more variables is this. X squared minus y squared equals x minus y times x plus y. This is known as the difference of squares. So it's going to be right here. Difference of squares. Okay? So you want to make sure you feel comfortable multiplying those 2 and solving. The rest, I'm not too worried about these last 2. If you see it, you're familiar with it, fine. But this one I see is more popular. Okay. So let's take a look at the next one. Okay. We're going to do, okay, let's just take a look and start off with this question right here. I'm going to walk you guys through it, and we're going to take a look at this one. So we have z equals x minus 6, and then we have 3z equals 6x plus 9. So you can solve this using elimination. You can plug in numbers. My first thing that comes to my mind is substitution. I've got this z by itself right here, so I'm just going to take x minus 6 and substitute it. So we got 3 times x minus 6 equals 6x plus 9. That's going to give me 3x minus 18 equals 6x plus 9. So I have to then distribute this, right? It's going to distribute. And then I'm going to move the x from the left side to the right side. I always move the x wherever it's going to stay positive. If I move the 6x from the right to the left, it's going to turn negative, right? If I move the 3x from the left to the right, it's going to go positive. So we'll do that. So I'm going to subtract 3x both sides. Negative 18 equals 3x plus 9. Subtract 9 both sides. You get negative 27 equals 3x. Then I divide by 3, and I'm just going to get x equals negative 9. Okay, so, oh, they want z. So then we just go ahead and plug in right here. Z equals x minus 6, so negative 9 minus 6, which is negative 15, answers A. Okay. So this one should be pretty straightforward. You will see this on the test. I can guarantee everybody needs to make sure we can tackle a question like this. Make sure, once again, we're so used to solving for x. Always, always, always read the question and see what they're saying. Find the question mark. You don't have to reread the entire question. Find the question mark and read like the 5 words before it. What is the value of z? Question mark, so you know exactly what you're solving for. This test is testing 2 things: your knowledge on the material, number 1. Number 2 is your attention to detail. And the reason why attention to detail is important is because if you miss one little thing, that can make a big, big mistake. Just to give you guys an example. So I came from the finance and economics background. I went to Rutgers Business School on a full scholarship. And then after that, I worked for Morgan Stanley in New York City. It's a bank on Wall Street. And I did financial analytics for them. So I worked there. And I always use this as an example because, I don't know, maybe I was working long hours, didn't get enough sleep, wasn't paying attention, but I made a really big mistake, minor mistake that turned out to be a big issue. Essentially, the revenues of the company for the day, I was making like an Excel spreadsheet. We're putting together a nice PowerPoint report to send to the boss's boss, right? Up the executive ladder. And on the report, I think for the day, we made like, whatever, it was like $9,872,353, right? Some number. I, by accident, in the report when putting together this PowerPoint presentation, put a negative. right? So then once that came to the top, everything went down back the ladder and saw, how did we lose $10 million today? And now just because I made a little mistake of picking up this negative, maybe I, subtracted wrong in my formulas, I was using Excel, right? Those little things, and I remember once you make a mistake, you learn from it, of course, but those little things is what the SAT is testing for. Your attention to detail. Are you answering exactly what the question is asking for? Sometimes they'll ask for Z, or sometimes they'll ask for X, and that's just a basic example. We'll get into more word problems where they're going to be giving you multiple things and throwing you so many different things, and they're going to ask and see if you can solve, and out of all the information they give you, you find what's important and how to get that. That's the biggest thing. So those are the two things this test really is going to see if you know and can pay attention to. And obviously with timing and pressure, we're moving quickly. It's easy to make a mistake, but I just wanted to use that as an example. So that's just a basic example to make sure you pay attention to detail. Don't make silly mistakes. Otherwise, you're going to look bad in front of your boss. All right, let's take a look at this one. Perfect. This is a great example. This question right here, not a hard question. However, very easy to make a silly mistake. All right, so let's take a look at this question. I'm going to relaunch the poll. And we're going to take a look at that. So I want you guys to solve it. Take a minute and combine like terms and solve this problem, and then submit your answer to the poll. All right, I got a couple answers. Take another 30 seconds. All right, I've got just missing 5 students. See if everybody else can submit. Okay, everybody else submit. Looks like we've got missing just 3 students. Can everybody else just submit an answer? Just take an educated guess. I want to make sure we get everybody's answer into the poll. All right, 2 more. Okay, 1 more student. Yeah, if you could just put in an answer, I want to make sure we get everybody in. Okay. All right, so here is what our results look like. Most of you guys have A, which is the correct answer. Very good. So most of us got A here, which is the correct answer. For some of us who picked D, must have made a little mistake. And let me see if I can find that mistake. So what that mistake is, you take this negative right here. It's in front of a parentheses. You have to distribute this. So you're going to have negative 2a squared b minus 5ab plus 3b squared minus 5ab minus 4a squared b and minus negative b squared, which is plus b squared. All right, so now we combine like terms. So how do we combine like terms? Well, negative 5ab, negative 5ab, so that's negative 10ab. What else? Negative 2a squared b, negative 4a squared b. So negative 2 and negative 4 is negative 6a squared b. You probably, for those of you who put d, you must have added. And then 3b squared plus 1b squared is 4b squared. All right, so our answer is A. Very good. All right, so make sure you guys write that down. No issues or concerns. If you have a question, message me. I'm on my tablet. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. Okay, here we have a word problem. I want to walk you guys through this one because this is where it gets a little difficult and where students get confused. A lot of times we're doing exactly what we've been doing. You guys are good at the math, but here's where we struggle, okay? So pay attention for this one. Let's write this down as we go. We've got Dave and Freddie are both driving in their own cars. The equations, we got two equations here. D equals 22 plus 4x and F equals 34 plus 2x represents the speed in miles per hour of each of their cars. Of course, D is speed of Dave's car, F is speed of Freddie's car, after accelerating for x seconds. So D is Dave, F is Freddie, x is seconds. So, okay, at what speed in miles per hour are the two cars equal? So they want to know at what speed are the two cars equal. So the key thing here is whenever you see two equations on the test, most of the time what you have to do is you have to take them and set them equal to each other. They're saying at what speed are they equal? Well, what is speed? Speed is D for Dave and F for Freddie. So we want to know what is the speed when they're equal. So we want what happens when D and F are equal. So I'm going to set these two equations, set them equal to each other. 22 plus 4x equals 34 plus 2x. So we're going to solve that. We're going to subtract 34 both sides. No, sorry. I'm going to subtract 22 both sides. I'm going to subtract 22 both sides. 4x equals 12 plus 2x. Then subtract 2x both sides. It's going to give me 4x minus 2x is 2x equals 12. That should be a 2. And then 2x equals 12 divided by 2 both sides, x equals 6. Okay? Now, if 6 was an answer choice, most of you would pick it. Or some of us, right? We would probably fall for that. But it's not. Why? What is x? What does x represent? Seconds. That's time. What is the question looking for? Speed. Okay? So how do we figure out what the speed is? Put your answer into the group chat. What do we do next? How do we figure out the speed? Yes, exactly. You guys got it. Yep, take the 6, plug it back in. Exactly. Now, which equation? Doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter which equation. Why? Because if we did it correct, they should be equal. So that's one way we can do to check our math. Plug in 6 for both of them. So if we plug in 6 to the first one, we're going to get 22 plus 4 times 6, which is 24, which gives me 46. And if we plug it into the second one, we get 34 plus 2 times 6, which is 12, which is also 46. Very good. So our answer is D. Okay. So this is an example of a, keep in mind right here, whenever on this is a no calculator question, it's going to say so. If it doesn't say no calculator, you can assume it's calculator because there's 2 sections on the exam. Section 3 is no calculator. Section 4 is calculator. Okay. So those 2 sections on the exam. Any questions on that? Oh. All right. So let me clear that. Bring that back up. Where to go? Perfect. Yep. So that answer is going to be D46. Very good. If you have a question, message me, let me know. Otherwise, let's move on to the next. So this one's very tricky as well. This is a hard problem. I'm going to give you guys just a quick second to read it to yourself, gather your thoughts, take 30 seconds just to see what's going on, and I'm going to explain. If you have the answer, just message me personally. Yep. So for everybody who answered me, messaged me, you guys are correct. Yeah, this one's tricky. It's weird because there's a long way to do it, and there's a quick and easy way to do it, right? So the quick and easy way is, look, they want x squared minus y squared. Everybody who's messaging me, you guys are correct. X squared minus y squared. So we just talked about this. What does that break into? X minus y times x plus y, right? That's called the difference of squares there. So we want this. We have this. What is x minus y? Root 18. So root 18. And what is x plus y? Root 2. So you end up getting root 18 times root 2. So you just keep the square root. What's 18 times 2? 36. So your answer is just square root of 36, which is the same thing as 6. Answer is B. Okay? So once again, difficult looking question, easy to solve. All right, so if you guys know that x squared minus y squared is x plus y times x minus y, this problem is a breeze. Okay, so write that down. Make sure you have any questions or concerns. You message me, let me know. Once again, there will be a recording of this lesson too if I'm moving too quickly. Not sure if I am. I'll probably post a question about that. But I like to move fast. I can get as much done as possible in the brief time that we have. But yeah, any questions, let me know. Message me. Otherwise, let's move on to the next. Let's do, okay, this one. Once again, take 30 seconds, read it, write it down. I'm going to give, I'm going to give everybody a minute. Let's try to solve this question on your own first. This is a hard problem, by the way. Hard problem alert. So try to solve it, see if you can do it. Message me the answer, and then I'm going to walk you guys through it as well. Yes. So for those of you messaging me so far, oh, I got. Yeah, so far for those of you who are messaging me, if I haven't responded, that means you have the right answer. All right, if I don't respond to you, that means you have the right answer. All right, most of you have the answer. Yep. Okay, I'm going to show you guys. For those of you, a lot of you guys are very, very close. A lot of you guys missed one step. Ready? Here's what's going on. We know we want to solve for y. Whenever we want to solve for y, we need to get rid of x. Okay? Whenever we want to solve for y, we need to get rid of x. So you take 10 root 2 and you plug it in there. Okay? Just substitution. So we have 2 times 10 root 2 equals root 2y. 2 times 10 is 20. Root 2 equals root 2y. That's it. You have to distribute the 2, you get 20 root 2. All right? Step 1, substitution. Step 2, multiply the 2 and 10. So we have 20 root 2 equals root 2y. Now, we want to solve for y. So what do we need to do? We need to get rid of this square root on the right side. So here's how we do that. You're going to take both sides. How do we get rid of a square root? We square it like that. So now the square root and the square are going to cancel, which is going to leave me with 2y on the right side. On the left side, I have to square the 20. So what's 20 squared? 20 squared is 20 times 20, which is 400. And what's root 2 squared? Root 2 squared is just going to be 2. So you have 400 times 2 equals 2y. 400 times 2 is 800 equals 2y. And then divide both sides by 2, and you get y equals 400. So our final answer here is 400. A lot of you got that. Some of you said 40. Some of you said 20. Some of you guys were pretty close. Some of you said 1600. So make sure you caught what your mistake was here. Okay. Any questions? Message me personally if you have any questions. Yeah, if you know what your mistake was, message me as well. I'm curious to see. 2. Yes, that 2, when you distribute the 2, it only goes to the 10, because think about it like this. If you have x root 2 and you're doubling that, you would just put like 2x root 2. You wouldn't distribute inside there as well. Yeah, a lot of you guys did that. A lot of you guys distribute the 2 into the radical. You only do it to the 10 or to the number right there. Okay, you don't distribute into the radical. When you square, however, you have to do both. But when you just multiply the 2, you don't. Okay? All right, so I think everybody here is comfortable with that one. This is another hard question, by the way. This problem was on a year ago, on the past May exam, and this was number 20, the last question, which means it's supposed to be one of the hardest. So it seems like most of you guys are comfortable with that, which is important. But yeah, let's take a look at another question as well. All right, so let's do, okay, system of equations. Let's move on to the next topic here, system of equations. We're moving quick, we're going through a lot. Here's the main thing with systems. You're either doing substitution or elimination, or you're setting them equal. So take 30 seconds just to read this to see what's going on. But this is going to be the main strategy of the type of questions you'll see on the exam, right? You're going to be substituting, you're going to be doing elimination, you're going to be setting the questions equal. That's going to be the basic strategy as well. Okay. Alrighty. So for a question like this, now a lot of students ask me, how do you know when to do substitution or elimination? It all depends on the problem. Whatever is easiest. You can use any of those strategies. You can always do that. Either strategy. You can always use substitution. You can always use elimination. In a problem like this, I'm using elimination. Why? The question's asking for x. If they're asking for x, I need to get rid of y. How do I get rid of y? Subtract my equations. 5x minus 7x is negative 2x. Y minus y cancels. And 18 minus 28 is negative 10. Divide both sides, I wrote 18, negative 10. Divide both sides by negative 2, x equals 5. You're done. So you could have done substitution, but then you would have needed to get the y's by itself and then set them equal to each other or plug in. So be it, right? Whatever is easiest for you, that's the way we solve. So that's that question as well. If any questions, just ask. But let's take a look at the next one. Can you repeat? Yes. So the way I here we go. The way I solved this one is I used elimination, and the way I did that is I just subtracted the equation. So most of you, when you do elimination, you're probably used to seeing addition, which is fine. Either way works. But when you do addition, that means you have to multiply one of these equations by negative 1. So that way the y is canceled. So instead of having to do that, I just said, oh, I could just subtract them. 5x minus 7x is negative 2x. Y minus y cancels. And 18 minus 28 is negative 10. And then x equals 5. That's it. Okay, does that make a little more sense for those of you who message me personally? Okay, perfect. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. Okay, a problem like this. Here, they want to solve for x. Once again, solve for x, we need to eliminate y. How do we do that? Well, we want the y's to be the same. So in this question, the y's are not the same. So instead of going to subtract them, I'll probably just add them. But what I need to do is, if I have a 3y up here, I want a negative 3y down here. So I'm going to take that bottom equation, multiply everything by negative 3. So then I'm going to be looking at something like this. 4x plus 3y equals 15. Negative 9x minus 3y equals negative 30. Then I'm going to add them. 4x plus negative 9x is negative 5x. 3y and negative 3y cancel. 15 and negative 30 is negative 15. Divide both sides by negative 5. X equals 3. And then we're done. D. Okay? Is everybody comfortable with that? Is that pretty straightforward? These are the basic ones, just like easy, medium, maybe medium category, depending on the level of question, but that's what you expect to see. We're also going to do this in terms of hard, and I'll show you how that looks as well. Any questions so far? Okay. Let's do... All right, let's take a look at this next question here. A problem like this. We want to solve for the value of y. So now if we're solving for y, we need to get rid of x. My x's here are not the same. So what do I need to do? What I want to do is, in order to get rid of these x's, I need to find a common denominator, which in this case here I have a 3, here I have a 7. So I'll just multiply the top equation by -3 and the bottom equation by +7. Why? Because -3 times 7 is going to give me -21x. -3 times -3y is going to be +9y. -3 times 20 is -60. And the bottom, 7 times 3x is 21x. 7 times -2y is -14y. And 7 times 15 is 105. Okay? Does everybody understand why I just did what I did? Multiply the top one by -3 and the bottom one by 7. Why? Because I want these to be the same. Because now when I add them, what's going to happen? -21x, 21x cancels. 9y, -14y is -5y, and -60 and 105 is 45. Divide both sides by -5, y equals -9. So answer is B. Okay? So if they're asking for y, get rid of x. If they're asking for x, get rid of y. All right, any questions on this problem? Are you guys comfortable with basic system of equations? Okay. All right, let's move on to the next. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes. Solve this question. I'm going to post a poll. I want you guys to submit it. And this is going to be the same thing that we've just been doing, but with word problem. So see if you guys can do it. Take 2 minutes to solve this question, and then we'll review it together. All right, I got a couple answers. Take another 30 seconds to solve this. Okay, I got a couple answers here. Let's wait to get about 2 more. All right, last 10 seconds, put in an answer, and then we're going to review. All righty, good, good. So here's what we got. most of you put C, which is the correct answer. So the answer here is 45. Now let me explain how we get that, how we solve, and what to do for this question. But yeah, so the right answer here is C. So for the most part, good job with that. Let's take a look and see how. So once again, translating from English to math. Two things going on here, right? Right at the very end, two things. 310 minutes is what it takes to grade. And 205 is to double check the work, right? 310 minutes to grade, 205 to double check. Okay, now, what do we know? First time right here, to grade the test takes her 8 minutes per student in math. So 8 minutes per student in math. So I'm going to say M is the amount of students in the math class. M is the amount of students in the math class, $8 per student, 8M. Next is going to be 6 minutes in her chem class. So 6 times C. That's it. 6 minutes per student in chem. All right, so that's step one. Make sure you have that equation. 310 equals 8M plus 6C. The next equation is going to be 205. The double checking is 4 students in math, and 5 minutes per student in math, and 5 minutes per student in chem. So it's going to be 4M plus 5C. So make sure you guys have these two equations. Okay. So once we have that, now at this point we want to solve for what? M or C? Both, doesn't matter, right? They want the total. So we need M and C. So what are we going to do? We're going to do what's easiest, which is get rid of the 8. Why? Because here's 8, here's 4. Okay? So what do we do with that? We want to make sure we can eliminate. So we're going to multiply this entire bottom equation by -2. So that's just going to give me, you know, instead of rewriting everything, I'm just going to replace that, multiply everything by -2. So 205 times -2 is going to be -410. 4 times -2 is going to be -8. And then here we had 5C times -2 is going to be -10C. Okay? So then I add the two equations. 310 plus -410 is -100. The 8M and the -8M cancel, and I'm going to get 6C plus -10C, which is -4C. So now I have -100 equals -4C. Divide both sides by -4, so -100 over -4 equals C, which that gives me 100 over 4, which is just C equals 25. Once I have that, then I will go back and plug in. All right, so that's the first step, making sure we know chem is 25. Once you know that, then you can just go back and plug it in right here. So you can have 310 equals 8M plus 6 times 125, which is 150. Subtract 150 both sides, you're going to get 160 equals 8M. Divide both sides by 8. You're going to get 160 divided by 8, which is 20 equals M. So there's 20 in her math, 25 in her chem. So that's a total of 45 students if you add the two up. All right, 20 in math, 25 in chem. Add the two up, that gives us 45 students. All right, any questions, issues, or concerns there? All right, take a second, make sure you guys have all this math written down. You feel comfortable with that. We're going to take a look at a couple of other hard questions and then move on from there. All right, so it seems like everyone's good. Let's do the next. Okay. So two types of questions I want to do. This one and the next. These are both hard problems. Step number one. They're both hard. So if you feel like this is going to be too difficult, it's fine. Let me see if I can walk you guys through and make you guys understand it. It's not that hard once you just know the strategy. So here they give us two equations. First equation is 6x plus 5y equals 17. Next equation is ax plus by equals 5. And we want to know which of the following values of A guarantees that the equations have an infinite number of solutions. Excuse me, infinite number of solutions. So what does that mean? If two equations have an infinite number of solutions, that means they are always touching. For lack of a better term, they're the same equation. They're equal to each other. They're always touching. They're the same equation. And that's what's going to be going on there. So what we need to do is make sure those two equations that they gave us are equal to the same number. That's step one. So we're going to take the top equation and multiply it by 5. And then we're going to take the bottom equation and multiply by 17. That's step one. So it's going to give me 30x plus 25y equals 85. And then 17ax plus 17by equals 85. The reason why we're multiplying by those numbers is that so one of them, so you see on the first equation it's equal to 17, the second equation is equal to 5. I want to multiply them by the other number so that way they can both be equal to the same number. Because it says infinitely many solutions. Whenever it says this word right here, infinite number of solutions, I want them to be equal. So my goal right here is making these two equations the same. So that's why I'm multiplying by those numbers. Does that kind of make sense? Yes, okay. So now that they're both equal to 85, that's the reason why I multiply by 5 and 17. I want them to be equal to the same number. So this is 85, this is 85, we're good to go. Now we can do something called corresponding terms. This 25y is this 17by. This 30x is this 17ax. And because they want me to solve for a, I'm going to take the 30x, right here, 30x, and set it equal to the 17ax, because they're equal to each other. They're the same thing. They're infinitely many solutions. They're the same part of the equation. So 30x equals the 17ax. Cancel out the x's. 30 equals 17a. Divide both sides by 17, and then we get 30 over 17 equals a. Okay, so our answer is D. This is a hard question. So let's recap. Infinite number of solutions, we know they have to be the same equation. Once we know they're the same equation, we're going to make sure they're equal to the same number. And then we're going to match up the terms. All right, so everyone take 10, 20 seconds, write this down, make sure you feel comfortable. If you have any questions, message me. Okay, you guys feel comfortable with this one? This one's tough. Okay, do another one very, very similar. Very, very similar. So this question, take a second. I want everybody to take a minute or two. Try to solve it on your own first. See what you think. Message me the answer, and I'll start walking you guys through it. Yep, very good. Yeah, so this one's tough. What does that mean when two equations have no solutions? If two equations have no solutions, here, if you have a graph, let's say this is one equation right here. They have no solutions. That means the other equation is going to look like this. Yes, thank you. Someone messaged me and said parallel. Very good. They are parallel. So if two lines have no solutions, that means they never touch, which means they are parallel. If two equations are parallel, boom, you got it. Same slope. Very good. So our key thing is to set both of these equations equal to y equals mx plus b. Very good. Set both of the equations equal to y equals mx plus b. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So we have 10x minus 4y equals 15. Negative 4y equals negative 10x plus 15. Divided by negative 4y equals 10 over 4x minus 15 over 4. Okay? All I did is I took the first equation and put it into y equals mx plus b. Right here. That's all I did. Is everybody comfortable with that? Because I'm going to do the same thing for the second equation. Ready? 7x plus by equals 18. Move over the 7x. By equals negative 7x plus 18. Divide by b. Y equals negative 7 over bx plus 18 over b. So here's the second equation. So those two equations that they gave us, I took them and set them equal to y equals mx plus b. Any questions or concerns? Now, the reason why I did that is because I want to do something like this. I'm going to do what? Same slope. What's the slope for the first one? 10 over 4. What's the slope for the second one? Negative 7 over b. They have to be equal. So you have 10 over 4 equals negative 7 over b. Cross multiply. 10b equals negative 28. Divide both by 10. B equals negative 28 over 10, which simplifies to negative 14 over 5. Oh, so my answer here is actually C. Some of you who said A, it's actually C here, must have missed the negative. Okay, let me double check my math. Subtract the negative, divide by negative. Yes, that's 10 over 4. This is going to be negative 7 over B. Yeah. So it's going to be negative 14 over 5. So the answer here is C. All right. Any questions or concerns? Once again, this is a hard problem. Two types of what do we learn? Infinitely many solutions, same equation. No solutions, same slope. All right. That's it. Take a second to write this down. If you guys are comfortable, then we're going to move on to the next. I don't have one more like this, but we will be doing one in a practice test. Yes. But as long as you just write down no solutions, parallel, same slope, get both equations to be the same, set the slopes equal to each other, you'll be good. But I don't have one specifically on this slide. But yes, we will be doing another one because it will be on practice tests, and we'll go through more of those, and I'll sign up for homework. But yes, we will. Okay, hold on, we got a couple other questions. Give me one sec. What if it was, oh, good question. Someone asked me, what would you do if instead of no solutions, it was just one solution? So someone asked, what happens if there's just one solution? If there's just one solution, what you need to do is you take the equations and set them equal to each other. What does it look like when there's one solution? Like this. Yep. Oh, let me get my drawing. So if you have a coordinate plane, and they're saying these two equations have one solution, that means one's going like this, another one's going like this. So right there, that's one solution. What do? Set the equations equal, okay? So if they're saying they have one solution, just set the equations equal to each other. Solve for y, get the y's by themselves, set them equal to each other. Good question, okay? So that's the general gist of system of equations. All right, variables and choices. We're going to skip this for now. Variables and choices. This topic is all about plugging in numbers. Not too difficult. I'm going to skip this for now so I can keep moving on. You guys will get the slides to this so you can practice that. Let's move on to lesson 2. Okay, my goal is ideally to get 2 lessons done a day so I can get through everything as well and do a little bit of practice. So we're going to move kind of quick here. Most of these topics you guys will be comfortable like absolute value. This one should not be too bad. If you have absolute value here, right? You guys have all seen this. Absolute value of anything turns it positive. Absolute value of -4 is +4. Absolute value of 4 is still 4, right? Whatever happens, it turns it positive. You can also solve it algebraically. Like here, for example, this problem, absolute value of 2x plus 4 is 6. That breaks into these two. So you can do 2x plus 4 equals +6 and 2x plus 4 equals -6 and solve for both of them and get x equals 1 and x equals -5. All right? So that's the information on that one there. So that's absolute value. I'm going to show you guys one example here to make sure you guys feel comfortable. Once again, not too popular of a topic, but you'll see a couple problems. Something like this. Absolute value of n plus 2 equals 4. Solve it algebraically, or honestly, what's even easier is just go through your answer choices and plug them in. Let's start with A. Let's plug in 4. Oh, if we plug in 4, 4 plus 2 is 6. Is that equal to 4? No. So we know it can't be this one. Let's plug in 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. Is that equal to 4? No. Let's plug in the next one. -2 plus 2 is 0. 0 equal to 4? Nope. So we know it has to be -6. -6 plus 2 is -4. -4. Absolute value of that is 4. All right. So that's it. That's all we have to do. All right. Plug in your numbers. The reason why I say plug in is because they start to get harder. So for example, this one, I'm going to post a poll. I'm going to post a poll. I want you guys to give me your answer here for this question. Yeah, someone asked a question. There's two answers for the absolute value. Yes, you're going to have two answers, the positive and negative. Technically, they could both end up being positive or negative depending on the way the math works and how big the numbers are. But yes, one of them should be positive, one of them should be negative. Yeah. All right, I've got a couple more answers. I'm missing about 4 students. Everybody else put in your answer. All right, missing about 2 more. Okay. Yep, so our answer here, most of you guys got it correct. Answer is D. A couple of you picked B, which is the trap answer here. And the answer is D, no such value. Let me explain why. Once again, if you're solving it algebraically, honestly, I feel bad to say this, but just do the lazy thing. Do the lazy thing. The lazy thing is plug in the numbers, right? I know you guys can do the algebra, but the thing is, they know that you guys are doing the algebra. And because of that, what are they doing? They're making sure that you guys make a mistake. That's essentially it. So here's why I'm saying plug in numbers. Why? This is what happens. You plug in 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. Absolute value is 0, 0. 0 plus 2 equals 0. Nope. What if we plug in 0? 0 minus 2 is -2. Absolute value of negative turns into +2. 2 plus 2 is 0. Once again, no. Right? If you plugged in 0, you get absolute value of -2, which turns +2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 does not equal to 0. And same thing with -2. You plug in -2, you get like -4 plus 2, and then the absolute value of that equals 0, which also just not 0. So the reason is no such value. And why? If you were to solve it algebraically, you've got absolute value of x minus 2 plus 2 equals 0. You move over the 2 to the other side, you get absolute value of x minus 2 equals -2. There's no way that the absolute value of something will ever give you a -2. Okay? So plug in numbers. Okay, any questions? All right, so plug in numbers, solve, and move on from there. I think you guys are comfortable with that. That's absolute value. Let's move on there to the next topic. and do inequalities. So inequalities here, let's take a look at that. Okay. So inequalities here. Inequalities are just like an equal sign. No different, just like an equal sign. All right. The thing here with inequalities that's different is just that whether it's greater than or less than. That's the only difference, but it's just pretty much like an equal sign, right? So you still solve everything the same. You move everything over. You isolate the variable, whether it's the x or the y, just like an equal sign, and solve. But then when it's greater than, it means you're going to have multiple solutions. Okay. So let's take a look at, okay. Now the one thing you need to know is whenever you work with a negative, what you want to do here, for example, this problem right here, we have negative 6x minus 9 is greater than 3. Add the 9 over, negative 6x greater than 12. Divide by negative 6. Whenever you divide by negative 6, you have to flip the sign. So then you flip it, and it's going to be 12 divided by negative 6, which is negative 2. Okay? So just remember that for inequalities, and you'll be good. Okay? So let's take a look and let's do. Okay. I'm going to make a poll. I want you guys all to give me the answer for this one. So question. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, shoot me a message. I'll be sure to respond. But yeah, write this one down, solve it. You could do this one of two ways. You could solve it algebraically, isolate the x, or you could plug in the numbers. So take a second to write that down and solve it, and then put in your answer. Okay, we've got about half of the answers here. Let's wait for a couple more. Keep getting a decimal. Yes, no, the decimal is not wrong. If you got a decimal, that's fine. But you want to pick a number that satisfies this inequality. Remember, this is an inequality. It doesn't have to be equal to. Okay, let's wait for about 2 more answers, and then we'll go through there. Okay, all right, good. I got most of my answers here. Most of you guys are correct. Let me just share the results. Okay, so our right answer here is C. Let me make sure we just walk through that. Negative 2y plus 5 greater than or equal to 3y minus 22. Add the 2y on both sides. Add the 2y. So 5 is greater than or equal to 5y minus 22. Add the 22 to both sides. 5 plus 22 is 27, greater than or equal to 5y. Then divide by y on both sides, and you get, we're dividing by y, so we don't have to flip the sign, 27 over 5. Which for those of you who put this into your calculator, 27 over 5, which you can because this is not no calculator, 27 over 5 gives us, I believe that's 5.4. So they're saying, which of the following answer choices satisfies this inequality? What is it saying? 5.4 is greater than or equal to y. So what number? So y is going to be less than 5.4. What number is less than 5.4? 5. Everything else, 7, 6, 8, those are all greater than 5.4. So we know our answer has to be 5. All right, any questions on this one for inequalities? Make sure you guys write that down, take a second. Feel comfortable with that. If you have a question, message me. Otherwise, we're going to move on from there. Okay. All right, so same thing now. What I want to show you is you're going to see something like this on the test. This looks overwhelming. You have a massive word problem, which has a lot going on, and you look at this and you're just like, I don't even know where to begin, right? You take a look at this and you're not sure how to approach it, what to do, or you just don't want to read it because you're exhausted. You're going through so many questions and you're going through so many problems, and you may be unsure of the strategy and the approach. So here's what you do. Let me show you guys a trick, all right? You can use this every single time, as long as you're just careful with exactly what we're looking for. Look at our answer choices, because me personally, when I'm doing the test, I'm not reading this problem. There's no way. There's too much going on. I don't need to know everything. Here's what I need to know. Look at my answer choices. Ready? A, B, C, D. What's the difference between all of my answer choices? Message in the group chat. What's the difference between all of my answer choices? Yep. Everyone who's messaging me, you guys are correct. The difference between my answer choices is the signs. The way the signs are facing, the inequalities, exactly. Everything else is the same. The numbers are all the same. 50x plus 35y, 440, x, y, 20. Everything's the same besides the way the signs are facing. So we either have less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay? That's the difference. So in this case, what do we need to do? Our two numbers, 440, 20. Those are the two numbers. Let's figure out whether we're less than or greater than. So I go to my problem, I find 440. That's easy to do because it sticks out. And it says at least 440. At least 440. So that means 440 or 450 or 460 or 500. At least 440. So we need to have 440 or more. So it's going to be this way. We need at least 440. We can have more than 440, but we need at least 440. So right off the bat, A and B are wrong because they don't have that. And then the next thing is the 20. Where's the 20? Right here. Maximum of 20 a day. So 20, a maximum of 20. So we could spend $10 a day, 15, 18, 19, 20, but no more. So it's going to be less than or equal to 20 because it's a maximum of 20. So now I know my answer is C, and we were able to answer that without reading a single word. So once again, use your answer choices as a source of information. They are there to help you. I always want to show you guys the quick, easy ways to solve these problems because I want to save you time and effort. If you don't have to do more work, why do more work? This is a matter of getting as many points as possible, and this is one way to go through this question. Any issues or concerns with how we did this problem? You will probably see something like this. It will be very lengthy, and you're going to be overwhelmed when you first look at it. Don't let the test take advantage of that nervousness that you may have. Any concerns or questions on this problem? Okay. All right, so once again, look at your answer choices. Use that as a source of information. Now let's take a look next at the next topic we want to go through here is exponents. Exponents. You guys have probably seen this. This is a very popular topic, very challenging. So I want to make sure we go through everything and tackle that as well. So let's take a look at exponents. Here's some of the basic rules. You guys are going to get access to these slides. I'm going to write them down as well and go through everything, but these are the basic rules here. Just take a quick look. Okay, so here's another one, negatives, zeros. All right, don't worry about all that. That looks like a lot. I'm going to write everything right now. Here are the basic 5 rules. I'm going to write everything right here for you. Rule number 1, if they have the same base, x squared times x cubed equals x to the 5th. That's rule number 1. Same base, they're multiplying, add the exponents. You add the numbers. Okay, that's exponents. That's what we're dealing with right there. Okay, that's rule number 1. Rule number 2, if they have the same base and they're dividing, subtract the exponents. Okay, make sure you guys are writing these down. There's 5 rules, because then I'm going to post some couple of difficult exponent questions. I know a lot of us are going to struggle, so I want to make sure we're comfortable. Okay, rule number 3. If you're raising a power to another power, they multiply. So x to the 2 to the 3 is x to the 6. X to the 2 to the 3 is x to the 6. That's rule number 3. Rule number 4, if you have a negative, you just flip it. So x to the negative 3 is just 1 over x to the 3. If you have a negative, you flip it. X to the negative 3 is equal to 1 over x to the 3. Okay, and then last but not least, we have fractions. So if you have x to the 2/3 power, whatever's on the top, the numerator, stays with the base. Whatever's on the bottom goes on the outside. So write down these 5 rules. Make sure you have these 5. You feel comfortable. There's no issues or concerns. All right, anyone have any questions on these rules? Message me and let me know. Any questions? Okay, any questions? You guys are comfortable? Okay, so let's take a look at this first problem right here. So here we have 2 to the 2x minus 2 equals 4. Okay, so that right there. Okay, so let's take a look. So step 1, we want to, whenever you're working with exponents, you want to have the same base. So we're going to get rid of the 4, and we're going to make it 2 to the 2. Right? 4 is just 2 squared. Why did I do that? Well, because once I have the same base on both sides, I can do this. Cancel the 2, cancel the 2. I just look at my exponents. So I'm just going to have 2x minus 2 equals 2. Add the 2, so you get 2x equals 4. Then you divide by 2, and you get x equals 2. You know, it's a lot of 2's, but that's how we write that down. So write that down. Make sure you guys are comfortable. Okay, so that's an easy one right there. I think everybody's comfortable with that. Let's take a look at the next. Okay, I'm going to post a poll. You guys should be able to solve this one. Let's take a look at this question here and see what you guys think. All right, this one should take us 30 seconds. Look at the question, post your answer. Okay, we got mostly everybody. We're missing a couple more. Alrighty. So this one here, our correct answer, which most of us got, is A. The rule, which this is rule number 3, right? When you wrote down the notes, rule number 3, you distribute the 4 to the 2, to the 4, and to the 3. So the numbers just all multiply. So you do x to the 2 to the 4, multiplies. Everything multiplies, okay? So my answer here is A. Okay. Let's take a look at, all right, here's a hard question. I want to walk you guys through it and show you how to solve. So for this problem, what you want to do, once again, the key thing for exponents is same base. So we're going to change this 27. 27 is what in terms of 3? 3 to the third. Yep, very good. 3 cubed is 27. So I'm going to just rewrite the question like this. That's it. Rewrite the problem just like that. Then I'm going to combine. Same base, they're multiplying, so what do? Add the exponents. Very good. So 3 to the 3 plus x equals 3 to the y. Very good. And then we get rid of the 3's, which leaves me with 3 plus x equals y. Now the question says, what is x in terms of y? So that means they want x by itself. So if we have 3 plus x equals y, they want to x by itself, we just move the 3 over. So we're just going to get x equals y minus 3. So answer is C. Okay? So that's how we solve this exponent question right here. This one's hard. This one's definitely hard. But the key thing is make sure have the same base, and then you can combine and solve from there. All right, any questions or concerns? Okay. Looks like we're comfortable. Let's take a look at the next. Could we multiply both by 27? No. Well, maybe you mean divide by 27. You could, but at the end of the day is you have to get the 27 in terms of 3, because even if you do that, there's still nothing you can do from there. The key thing is just to have the same base first. And then after that, you can multiply, divide, doesn't matter. But yeah, same thing is have the same base first. Okay, I'm going to make a poll. Yep, no problem. I'm going to make a poll, and everybody write down this question. See what you think. And then put in your answer. This is, by the way, this question was on the past October exam about 1.5 years ago. And this was one of the hard problems for exponents. It's about number 14. So see if you guys can solve it. This is on a past test. See if you can just get it correct. Okay, we got a couple answers. Let's wait for a few more. Okay, take 10 more seconds, put your answer in. Okay, so let's see. Got a little bit all over the place. Okay, so most of you, oh, we got about an even split between A and C. So our right answer here is C. Let me explain why. Ready? A is a common wrong answer. Very popular. Let me explain why. Because here's what you guys did. Step one was we want to know what is 8 times y. So you replace the y with 2 to the x. So you just got 8 times y, which is 2 to the x, right? That's what you did. Substitute the y with 2 to the x. The problem here is then you guys multiplied 8 and 2 and got 16 to the x. You can't do that. Why? You need to have the same. Whenever we're working with exponents, same base. So what do we do with this? Well, what we're going to do here is we can replace 8 with something in terms of 2. What is 8 in terms of 2? 2 cubed. So you have 2 cubed times 2 to the x. We want the same base. Now that we have both the 2 and they're multiplying, what do? They're multiplying, same base, you add the exponents. So that's just going to be 2 to the 3 plus x. So our answer is C. Okay? Does that make sense? Everybody comfortable with that? That's a hard problem, so I want to make sure we go through that, make sure everybody's comfortable with that, but the answer would be C, 2 to the 3 plus x. Okay. Any questions or concerns, message me, let me know. We're going to move on to the next one, but the answer then would be C. All right, once again, I'm going to make another poll. This is a hard question again, but let's see if you guys are comfortable. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes. It's another hard problem that used to be on one of the prior exams. See what you get, and then we'll go through there. Okay, I got a couple answers. Okay, let's wait for a few more. We're almost there. Take another 20, 30 seconds. Okay. All right, so let's submit your answer. I'm going to close down the poll. All right, so let's take a look. Most of us got the right answer. Very good. So yes, the correct answer here is A. A, very good. Not an easy one. I'm going to walk you guys through it and see if you guys can get understand and see why. But yeah, no, very good job. Answer here is A. So we've got 8 to the A power over 2 to the B power. So step one is we want the same base. So that 8 is the same thing as, I'm going to make that 8 into 2 to the 3a over 2 to the b. That's step one. Replace the 8 with 2 to the 3. Okay. Then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the exponents. Why? Same base, they're multiplying, so subtract the exponents. So it's going to be 2 to the 3a minus b. That's it. 2 to the 3a minus b. Okay. So what do we do then? Well, 2 to 3a minus b, they told me right here that b is 3a minus 5. So I'm going to replace the b and take this and replace it with 3a minus 5. So I'm going to get 2 to the 3a minus, instead of b, I'm going to put 3a minus 5 like that. You have to put it in parentheses. So then you distribute the negative, and you're going to get 2 to the 3a minus 3a minus negative 5, which is plus 5, which that just gives me 2 to the positive 5 because the 3a's will cancel each other out. So the answer is A. All right. Is everybody comfortable with that? Any concerns? Good. Now this is a very, very hard question. This question is not to be taken lightly. It's a very difficult question. Okay. Good. So once again, write down the math, make sure you feel comfortable, and then we're going to move on and review. Okay. Next, let's see what I've got to do functions, and I think that's everything. Lesson 3. Perfect. Functions is the last topic. Good. All right, so I'm going to do functions. We're going to finish up with functions today. We've got about 15 minutes. I'm going to get through functions. It should take me only about 5-10 minutes. I'm going to explain what the game plan is for next week, give you guys a little bit of homework as well, and continue to work this. I know it's difficult to try to make progress and prep for the SAT amidst everything that's going on, especially with online. But I think we're making it work. It seems like you guys are participating, which is great. I'm getting a lot of involvement, which I'm very happy about. But we'll continue to work hard. And honestly, as high school students, you guys should definitely take advantage of this time. You guys are home or wherever, and you guys are using an online source, and you have probably a little bit more time because a lot of things are canceled, right? Whether it's sports or whatever the case may be, a lot of things are canceled. Use this time, even though it sucks. Use this time to just get this test out of your way. Because I know a lot of juniors in school who save this exam or don't get the score that they want, and they save it for the summer. And then they push it off and do it over the summer, and then they save it for fall of senior year. And then you keep pushing it off, and by then, before you know it, schools need to know your score, and there's no more test dates to take. So definitely don't save it for the summer or for the fall. Get it done. Take the May or June exam, and make sure you get this all out of the way now. And obviously, it sucks to prep and get through all this material, but I think now is probably the best time to do it. So use this time to your advantage to get this out of the way, and get this done as well. All right. I know they're speaking of canceling some test days for May. My thought, as my tutor from my experience, is they're going to either push it to June, right? Well, they're going to push it to June. And worst case scenario, if June is canceled, I think they might actually release a test online. In college, when we took online classes, what they did is they had an exam that you took online on your computer, but they had like a recording software to make sure that students don't cheat and they're not taking it together and things like that. But I feel like that may be the alternate option, because they can't keep pushing it forever. There's students who are accepting to schools or getting into the next university. And if they keep pushing them, then they're not going to give you guys enough shots to take the test multiple times. I think every student should take the test at least twice to get an idea of what's going on, and make sure you give it your all. But if they keep pushing it back, I think that's definitely going to hurt enrollment and affect future dates. It's going to take some time to recover from everything. Another question: do you recommend taking between the ACT and the SAT? My personal experience is I've taken both, and did the same on both exams. I was able to get perfect on both, but the problem is I think the ACT is harder, to be honest. At least the math. I'm speaking for the math. I think the SAT math. So, for example, let me just write this down right here. The SAT math has a section 4, right? Section 4, which there's 55 minutes, and there's only 38 questions. On the ACT, you've got 60 minutes, 60 questions. Huge difference. The ACT is a very fast-paced exam. You've got a minute per problem. So keep that in mind. I think the ACT is a little bit more difficult because there's also more advanced trig. There's law of sines, law of cosines, not that much more difficult, but there are topics like matrices and scientific notation. So I personally like the SAT. I also like the SAT because of the fact that the SAT is half math, half English. So me, because I'm good at math, I want half of my score to be math. The ACT, only 1 out of 4 sections is math, so it's only 25%. And you have this weird science section. I recommend to try both. If you have a test, I recommend strongly the SAT and give that your all. You can try both. But I noticed that all of my students that I work with in schools that we work with, the SAT tends to be the more popular exam. Now, question, what type of math can we expect to see on level 1 math subject test? So the math subject test is pretty simple, especially level 1. Very similar stuff to what you see right here. Level 2 is where you need to know pre-calc, calc, and trig and everything. Level 1 is very simple stuff that we're doing right here. So if you're taking the subject test for level 1, it's going to be exactly what we're doing right now. So yeah. All right, let's finish up this last topic for functions. Any other questions, just let me know. But yeah, let's do functions right here. So everyone here has seen f of x, right? That f is the function name. Whatever's inside the parentheses, that's the input. And then whatever it's equal to is the output. That's what the equation spits out. So what you'll see is in basic an example like this where you have f of x equals 4x plus 6. Here's a table of values. When you plug in 2, the equation spits out 14, right? Because if x is 2, what do? You take, let's see, if x is 2, you take this 2, you plug it in, you get 4 times 2 plus 6, which that gives me 8 plus 6, which is 14 right here, right? That's the way functions work. I want to make sure everyone understands that. So functions just, they're taking table of values, plugging them in and solving. All right, so everybody, I'm going to release a quick poll. I want everyone to put this answer here. This one should be pretty straightforward. I'll give you guys about a minute for this problem. Okay, let's get 2 more in. Let's get 2 more. Okay, last 10 seconds, last 10 seconds. Put in your answer. Okay, let's end the poll. Share the results. Okay, good. We pretty much got, everyone's pretty much got A, which is the right answer. For anyone who put C, what you need to do, what your mistake was, is you did 2 times 3 first. So right here you have 3 and you plug in 2, right? You instead of doing 2 squared, you did 2 times 3, which gave you 6, and then you squared that and got 36. All right, you got 36. But what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to plug in 2. You're going to get 2 squared, which is 4. 4 times 3, this is supposed to be 12. Plus 12 plus 4, which is 28. All right, so that's how we tackle this question right here. Very good. So that one's A. You guys got the gist of that. Let's take a look at the next. The other thing I wanted to do with functions, so you're going to get word problem like this. Once again, let me post a word problem. Let me have everybody solve this one too. Here's a word problem very similar to what we just did. Let me have you guys give this one a shot. Just take a minute to solve it and put your answer in. Okay, let's get 2 more answers in. Look for a couple more. All right, I think we've got everybody. Okay, very good. So our answer here is B. Very good. Everybody got that correct. Nobody got that one wrong. Very good. Yeah, all you did there is you just take the 25, plug it in for n. 25 times 8 is 200. 200 plus 125 is 325. Very good. Okay. This question, let's finish up with this last one. I'm going to show you guys this question and talk a little bit about homework. Let's go through what's going on here. Whenever they say, they give us some function, right? They're saying for what value of x is f undefined? Whenever a function is undefined, what you need to know is denominator. So denominator needs to be equal to 0. So whatever's on the bottom, your denominator, all of this needs to be equal to 0. Okay, so that's what we do. So we take that equation, x minus 4 squared plus 4 times x minus 4 plus 4, set it equal to 0. Okay. You have x minus 4 squared, you're going to get x minus 4 times x minus 4 plus, and you distribute the 4 for x minus 16 plus 4 equals 0. So when you FOIL this out, x times x, that's going to be, let me write this right here, x squared, x times 4, negative 4x, 4 times x, negative 4x, 4 and 4 is 16, plus 4x minus 16 plus 4 equals 0. So all I did is I just FOILed out that, and then I'm going to combine like terms now. So here's what we do. Negative 4x, and positive 4x. That can all combine. So these guys will just cancel. So it leaves me with negative 4x. 16 and negative 16 will just cancel. It leaves me with plus 4. And then I have just the x squared, I believe. Right? Did I get everything? Yep. Equals 0. So I have x squared minus 4x plus 4. So then I have to then factor this out to get my answer for x. So which two numbers multiply to give me 4 but add to give me negative 4? Negative 2. So you have x minus 2 times x minus 2. So that means x will be equal to 2. So when x is 2, then my denominator will be 0, and therefore it's going to be undefined. Okay. Any questions, issues, or concerns there? What if we substitute a y for x? Totally fine. Yeah, you could plug in a y and then do it that way too. That's fine. I'd probably go through it. Yeah, because that's fine. That's actually a good trick. One of the students said that we can just substitute the x minus 4 with a y, and then when you do that, you would get y squared plus 4y plus 4, and then that just breaks into y plus 2 times y plus 2, and you're gonna get y equals negative 2, and then you just set x minus 4 equal to negative 2, add 4, you get x equals 2. Yep, whatever, doesn't matter. That's a good trick as well, but whatever it takes to get x equals 2, that's the correct answer. Very good. All right, so awesome. We did everything here in lesson 1 and 2. This pretty much covers arithmetic algebra. Next time we meet, next week, we're gonna do lessons 3 and 4, which is gonna be some more arithmetic algebra. The week after that, we're going to do 5 and 6, which is geometry. And the last week is going to be data analysis. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to go on the online platform that we have access to, that you guys, Samantha set you up with. If there's any topics you struggled on, watch the video, do some practice problems. If you guys felt comfortable and you had no concerns, I want everyone here to get familiar with their first practice test. So you go to Google. Here's your homework. Go to Google and type in SAT practice test number 1. That's your homework. Go to that test and do section 3 and 4. Section 3 and 4. Okay? Now, granted, this is an online class, so if you don't do your homework, I don't know. This is going to be like a college class, right? The professors in college, they don't care whether you come to class. Like, for example, I took a calc class in college. I went to 2 classes, my midterm and my final. Got an A. Doesn't matter. As long as you know the material, that's what matters. So if you guys know all of this, fine, so be it. Take this test and prove to me that you can get an 800 in the math. I want all of you here to get into your dream schools, to get the scholarships that you're applying for, and be able to achieve the the goals that you have. So this test is that one way to you're one of many things that you need on your resume to be able to achieve those goals. So as long as you're practicing and learning the material, that's what I care for. Obviously, if you guys are in this class, you're already a motivated group. So I know that I know that I'm in good hands here, but I want to make sure that you guys practice and apply. So go through any of the topics on lesson 1 and 2 in the online platform. Practice what we reviewed today. If you're comfortable, go ahead and take a look at it. Go to Google, type in SAT Practice Test 1, and do section 3 and 4. It's going to be a PDF test, and you'll be able to go through that and find the answers online as well. So practice that, go through everything. Next week, we're going to continue to move on through topics. We're going to go through some more material and approach everything that way, all right? If you have any other questions, let me know, message me. Thank you again, guys, for taking the time. Great work again today. I'm very happy with everything that we went through and been able to accomplish. Any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your week and stay safe, all right? I'll talk to you guys next week. Oh, what's the website where we can find the practice? Oh, yes, I'm going to put that. The website where you can find the practice is right here. You go to Google, you could just type in prep. Do we have access to the slides? Yes, I will send you guys that as well. Look out for it in your emails. prepforsuccesstutors.com. That's where the practice is going to be. Oh, let me post this to everybody. prepforsuccesstutors.com. Okay, that's where your practice will be. Make sure you can log in, and we will then make sure you guys can get access to the slides. Let's see. All right, any other questions or concerns? All right, I'm gonna actually, you know what, here's what I'll do. Let me give, for the slides right now that I have open, I'm going to give you guys the link for the slides. Where's my slides? Here we go. Here's the slides. Let me get the link so I can share this with you guys. And I'm going to copy link. Perfect. All right, here's the slides. I'm going to copy it right now. Control V. Okay, that link right there. That link right there gives you access to the slides. Anybody have questions on where to get the slides? Here's it. If you're in the class, you have the link to the slides. Not in the class, you guys are going to watch. Whoever hasn't made it today, I think we're missing about 5 students or so. They will be able to watch the recording of this, and they'll be able to then go through everything that way. But there's a link to the slides. You guys have access to the slides and to the website as well. All right. For the practice test, it's on the website, right? Or just general Google. So for the practice test, you go to Google. You just type in SAT Practice Test 1. That's going to be general in Google. Where can you guys find the recording? The recording will most likely be distributed via a link. I'm going to double check to make sure. Okay. If you have any other questions, send us an email. But that pretty much covers up everything today. And then we'll go through that. All right. So the recording will be distributed via email because it's going to be given to all students, even those who miss it. If some of your friends are in the class, encourage them to join. Otherwise, they can watch the recording. That's going to be distributed. But there's the homework. There's the material. And if you have any other questions, just message me or give me an email. Awesome. No, I appreciate the feedback. Oh, before you guys go, let me submit one last poll. I think Samantha did this last time as well. Let me submit one last poll and fill this out. Just let me know give me some feedback. Let me know how I'm doing. I'm trying my best to make sure you guys learn and feel comfortable with the material. So if you guys can give me some feedback, I would appreciate that. Otherwise, you guys can submit that. Thank you guys. Have a good week as well. Submit the poll on your way out just so I have feedback. No worries for those of you who are late. If you guys were late, that's fine. There's a recording. And I just wanted to get some feedback from everybody as well. Hopefully the tips and tricks were helpful. We'll continue to work through some material. Let me see if I can end the poll and share. Awesome. No, great feedback. Thank you, everybody. That makes me feel a lot more confident as well. I want to make sure that this class is effective. So I appreciate it. Enjoy, you guys. Stay safe. Have a good weekend. And then I will talk to everybody next week. All right. Take care, everybody. Enjoy. Bye-bye.